Commander Olivia Martinez stood on the bridge of the UEA horizon, staring at the star map projected in front of her. She tucked a strand of dark hair behind her ear and frowned. Something wasn't right. "Commander, we're picking up an unusual signal," said Communications Officer Maya Patel. Her fingers moved quickly across her console. "It's not matching any known alliance patterns." Martinez walked over to Patel's station. "Can you clean it up?" "Working on it." After a moment, Patel looked up with wide eyes. "It's a distress call, Commander, from the Neverend system." The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew about the Neverends, an advanced alien species that rarely interacted with other civilizations. They were known for their incredible technology and their desire to be left alone. "Play it," Martinez ordered. A strange voice filled the bridge, speaking in the universal trade language. "This is High Elder Zathrax of Navora. Our sun is becoming unstable. Our predictions were wrong. We have days, not decades. We request immediate assistance from any vessels within range. Our people face extinction." Lieutenant Eric Harris spoke up from his weapons station. "The Neverends asking for help? That's a first." "How far are we from their system?" Martinez asked the navigation officer. "At maximum speed, 18 hours, came the reply. Martinez tapped her fingers on the console. Alliance protocols were clear. They were on a patrol mission with specific objectives. Diverting to assist would require approval from command, which could take days. Days the Neverends didn't have. "Send a message to command informing them of our intention to respond to the Neverend distress call," Martinez said finally. "But Commander," her first officer, Jack Reeves, stepped closer and lowered his voice. "That's not protocol. We need approval first." Martinez looked him in the eye. "By the time approval comes, there might not be anyone left to save. Send the message, but set course for the Neverend system immediately. I'll take full responsibility." Reeves nodded, knowing better than to argue further. Martinez had a reputation for bending rules when lives were at stake. It had earned her both admirers and enemies throughout her career. The horizon changed course, its engines pushing to maximum speed. Martinez called a meeting of her senior staff to prepare for the rescue operation. "What do we know about their sun?" she asked Dr. Samantha Wells, the ship's science officer. Wells displayed a hologram of the Neverend star. "Based on the data we're receiving, it's experiencing premature helium flash. The Neverends predicted this would happen, but not for another 50 years. The star is already sending out massive solar flares. Within 3 days, it will release a final burst that will strip away their atmosphere." "Population?" Martinez asked. "Approximately 12 million on their homeworld," Wells answered. "They have colony ships, but they weren't scheduled to be ready for another decade." Martinez leaned forward. "So they have ships, but they're not ready. What's the biggest problem they're likely facing?" Jack Reeves spoke up. "If they try to launch, now the solar flares will destroy their ships before they can escape the system. They need protection they don't have." Martinez nodded slowly. "But we do. Commander, the Horizon shields weren't designed to protect against that level of solar radiation," Reeves objected. "Not the standard shields, no." Martinez turned to her chief engineer. "But what about that experimental shield modification you've been working on?" The chief engineer looked surprised. "The multi-layer harmonic shield? It's still theoretical. We've only run simulations." "Could it work?" The engineer hesitated. "In theory, yes. If we generate multiple shield layers oscillating at different frequencies, we could deflect much more radiation than our standard shields, but we've never tested it in real conditions." "Well, we're about to," Martinez said. "Get it ready." The next 18 hours were a blur of activity. The engineering team worked non-stop to modify the Horizon's shield emitters while the rest of the crew prepared for a mass evacuation operation. When they arrived in the Neverend system, the situation was worse than they had expected. The star was visibly unstable, sending out massive solar flares that reached almost to the orbit of the homeworld. The planet itself was surrounded by 3 massive colony ships, each over a mile long. "They're impressive," Reeves said, looking at the scans of the Neverend vessels. But their shield technology isn't designed for this kind of radiation. The first major flare will cook everyone inside. Open a channel, Martinez ordered. The face that appeared on the screen was humanoid, but distinctly alien. The Neveran had pale blue skin and large compound eyes that reflected light like opals. Intricate patterns were etched into the skin of its face and neck. I am Elder Zathrax of the High Council. You have responded to our call when we expected none would come. Who addresses us? Commander Olivia Martinez of the United Earth Alliance vessel Horizon. We're here to help you evacuate. Commander, your offer is appreciated, but I fear you do not understand the situation. Our ships cannot withstand the solar radiation once we leave the protection of our planetary shield, and that shield will fail within 26 hours. We have a solution, Martinez said, then turned to her chief engineer. Explain the plan. The engineer stepped forward. We've modified our shield technology to create a multi-layer harmonic effect. We believe we can extend this shield to protect your ships during launch and until you clear the radiation zone. Zathrax's compound eyes seemed to flicker with interest. This technology is unknown to us. It's experimental, Martinez admitted, but it's your best chance. There was a pause as Zathrax consulted with others off-screen. Finally, the Elder turned back. We accept your offer, Commander. The Neveran people place their trust in you. The next 24 hours tested the crew of the Horizon to their limits. The engineers worked continuously to maintain the experimental shields as they extended protection to the massive colony ships. The Neveran evacuation proceeded with remarkable efficiency, their people boarding the ships in orderly groups. As the final colony ship prepared to launch, a massive solar flare erupted, larger than any they had detected before. Alarms blared throughout the Horizon. Shields at maximum capacity, the engineer reported, strain evident in his voice. We're barely holding. Divert all non-essential power to the shields, Martinez ordered, and tell that last ship to hurry. The minutes dragged by as the final Neveran ship slowly rose from the surface. Just as it cleared the atmosphere, another flare erupted, even larger than the last. Shields failing, someone shouted. Martinez made a split-second decision. Position us between the flare and the colony ship. The Horizon moved into place, taking the brunt of the solar blast. The ship shuddered violently. Consoles exploded in showers of sparks, but the shields held just long enough for the Neveran ship to reach safety. As the radiation levels finally decreased, Martinez surveyed her damaged ship. There were injuries, but no fatalities. The Horizon would need significant repairs, but they had succeeded. Elder Zathrax appeared on the view screen again. Commander Martinez, there are no words in any language to adequately express what you have done for us today. The Neveran people owe you a debt that cannot be measured. No thanks. Necessary, Elder. It's what anyone would have done. No, Commander. It is not what anyone would have done. And among my people, a debt of life must be repaid. When humanity needs us, when you need us, we will be there, no matter how impossible the task. Martinez nodded, not fully understanding the significance of the pledge. She would understand 5 years later, when the Void Eaters appeared on humanity's doorstep. 5 years passed since the Neveran rescue. Commander Olivia Martinez, now Captain Martinez, sat in her office aboard the UEA Defender. The ship was the pride of Earth's fleet, bigger, faster, and more advanced than the Horizon had been. Martinez looked at the picture on her desk. It showed her old crew from the Horizon after they had returned from saving the Neverans. Everyone was smiling despite their exhaustion. She had earned a promotion for that mission, but she had also earned a formal reprimand for disobeying orders. It had been worth it. The communication panel on her desk beeped. Captain, there's a priority message coming in from Earth Command, said Maya Patel, who had followed Martinez to her new ship. Put it through, Martinez said. Admiral Franklin Boyd's face appeared on the screen. His expression was grim. Captain Martinez, you need to return to Earth immediately. Something has happened. What's going on, Admiral? Not over comms. Just get here as fast as you can. The Defender made the journey to Earth in record time, When they arrived, Martinez was escorted directly to the Defense Council's chamber, deep beneath the surface of the North American continent. The room was filled with the highest-ranking military leaders and government officials. Admiral Boyd stood, at the front next to a large screen. "Captain Martinez, thank you for coming so quickly," Boyd said. "2 days ago, we received this transmission. It was directed specifically to you." The screen lit up with a message. The text was simple. "The Void Eaters approach your sector. You have 8 of your months. Remember our debt, Commander Martinez." Martinez felt a chill run down her spine. "It's from the Neverans. From Elder Zathrax." "That's what we thought," Boyd said. "But what are Void Eaters?" Before Martinez could answer, a scientist stepped forward. "We think we've found them," she said. She tapped a command into her tablet, and the screen changed to show a deep space image. This was taken by our furthest observatory in the Kuiper Belt. The image showed what looked like a tear in the fabric of space. Around it, stars were disappearing. "We've been tracking these entities for the past 36 hours, the scientist continued. "They're moving toward our solar system. Based on their speed, they'll reach us in approximately 8 months." "What exactly are they?" Martinez asked. "We don't know," the scientist admitted. "They appear to absorb all matter and energy in their path. They're not ships or any known astronomical phenomenon. They're something else entirely." "And what happens when they reach us?" Martinez asked, though she already knew the answer. "Admiral," Boyd's voice was flat, "based on what we've observed, they'll consume our entire solar system. Earth, the colonies, everything, in hours." Silence fell over the room. Finally, someone spoke up. "The message was directed to you, Captain. The Neverans owe you a debt. It's time to collect." Martinez nodded slowly. "I'll need my crew." "You'll have whatever you need," Boyd said. Within 24 hours, Martinez had assembled her team. Jack Reeves, now her executive officer, stood beside her as they briefed the crew in the Defender's main hall. "I won't lie to you," Martinez said. "This mission may be impossible. We're looking for a species that has been in hiding for 5 years, hoping they can help us stop something we barely understand." "Just another day at the office," Reeves said with a grim smile. Dr. Samantha Wells, who had been studying alien biology since the Neveran encounter, raised her hand. "Captain, do we even know where to look for them? They never told us where their new colony was located." "They sent coordinates with their message," Martinez replied. "It's a system about 20 light years from their original homeworld. It would take us 3 weeks to get there at maximum speed." Lieutenant Eric Harris, who had become the ship's weapons specialist, looked worried. "That doesn't leave much time for a solution." "Which is why we leave in 6 hours," Martinez said. "Prepare your departments." Dismissed. As the crew dispersed, Martinez turned to Reeves. "Jack, do you think they can really help us, or are we just grasping at straws?" Reeves considered the question. "The Neverans had technology we could barely understand. If anyone can help us, it's them. But more importantly, they believe they owe us. That counts for something." "I hope you're right," Martinez said softly. The Defender departed Earth that evening. As they prepared to enter faster-than-light travel, Martinez took one last look at the blue planet on the view screen. She wondered if she would ever see it again. The journey was tense. Martinez had the crew working around the clock, studying the limited data they had on the Void Eaters and preparing for any possible scenario when they reached the Neveran colony. 19 days into their journey, Maya Patel called Martinez to the bridge. "Captain, we're approaching the coordinates, but there's nothing here. No planets, no star, nothing." Martinez frowned. "Check the coordinates again." "I've checked 3 times. This is exactly where they told us to go." Martinez stared at the empty space on the screen. "Scan for anything unusual." Dr. Wells ran the scans from her science station. "There's a strange energy reading. It's like a fold in space." "A cloaking technology?" Reeves suggested. "Maybe," Wells replied. "But more advanced than anything I've ever seen." Martinez made a decision. Send a message on the frequency the Neverans use to contact Earth. Tell them the Defender has arrived, Captain Olivia Martinez commanding. They waited. Minutes passed with no response. Then suddenly the space in front of them seemed to ripple and tear. A massive structure appeared, a perfectly spherical object the size of a small moon. It's artificial, Wells said in amazement, and it's generating a gravity field. Before Martinez could respond, a voice came over the communication system. It was familiar, even after 5 years. Captain Martinez, I am pleased you remembered. Our debt. Please approach these coordinates and prepare to dock your vessel. We have much to discuss. The voice of Elder Zathrax was exactly as Martinez remembered. As the Defender approached the massive sphere, they realized it was just one part of a much larger structure. Hidden behind a complex cloaking field was an entire artificial system, a collection of massive habitats orbiting an artificial star. It's incredible, Reeves whispered. They built all this in 5 years? With their technology, yes, Martinez replied. And now we need that technology to save Earth. The Defender docked at a massive port on the surface of the sphere. Martinez selected a small team to accompany her: Reeves, Wells, Harris, and Patel. As they prepared to disembark, Martinez addressed them one final time. Remember, we're here to ask for help. Be respectful, but make it clear how urgent our situation is. The Neverans value their privacy, but they also value their debts. Let's hope that's enough. The airlock opened, revealing a brightly lit corridor. Standing there, waiting for them, was Elder Zathrax. The Neveran looked exactly the same as 5 years ago. Tall, with pale blue skin and large, reflective eyes. Captain Martinez, Zathrax said, bowing slightly. Welcome to Navora Prime. We have been expecting you. You know why we're here? Martinez asked. We know of the Void Eaters, Zathrax replied. We have been tracking them for decades. They are the reason we built our new home to be undetectable. Then you know what they can do. Can you help us stop them? Zathrax's compound eyes seemed to shimmer. We can help you, Captain, but first you and your crew must prove humanity worthy of salvation. Worthy? Reeves stepped forward. We saved your entire species. Yes, Zathrax agreed. And we are bound to repay that debt. But what we offer now is not just salvation for today, but partnership for tomorrow. Such things require certainty. Martinez met the alien's gaze steadily. What do we need to do? You must face the trials of truth. Each of you will be tested. If you succeed, we will give you what you need to redirect the Void Eaters. If you fail, Zathrax paused. Then perhaps humanity is not ready for what comes after. Martinez looked at her crew, saw the determination in their eyes, and nodded. We accept your trials. Elder Zathrax led Martinez and her crew through gleaming corridors that seemed to shift and change as they walked. The walls glowed with a soft blue light that came from no visible source. The trials of truth are different for each person, Zathrax explained. They are designed to test your true nature. Not what you claim to be, but what you are when faced with difficult choices. They arrived at a circular chamber with 5 doors. Each door was marked with a different symbol. Each of you will enter alone, Zathrax said. The trial will end when you have made your choice. Some trials are physical challenges. Others are puzzles of the mind. All will test your character. Martinez looked at her crew. We don't have a choice. Earth is counting on us. Jack Reeves nodded. We've faced worse odds. Have we? Lieutenant Harris muttered, but he straightened his shoulders. Remember your training, Martinez told them. Trust your instincts. Good luck, Captain, Dr. Wells said quietly. Maya Patel just gave a determined nod. Zathrax pointed to the doors. When you hear the tone, enter your assigned room. The trials begin now. A soft chime echoed through the chamber. The 5 doors slid open. Jack Reeves entered the first door. Inside was what looked like an engineering room, but unlike any he had ever seen. Strange machines hummed and pulsed with energy. In the center of the room was a control panel with unfamiliar symbols. A timer on the wall showed 60 Earth minutes. A voice spoke from nowhere. Your oxygen will run out in 1 hour. You must solve the engineering puzzle to restore it. Begin. Reeves approached the panel. The symbols shifted and changed as he watched. He realized this wasn't just about technical skill. It was about adapting to completely alien technology under pressure. He took a deep breath and began exploring the system, trying to understand its logic. Dr. Samantha Wells entered a room that contained what appeared to be a miniature ecosystem. Plants and strange creatures she had never seen before lived in a sealed environment. But something was wrong. Many of the plants were wilting, and several creatures lay still. This ecosystem will collapse in 30 minutes, a voice announced. You have limited resources. Save what you can. Wells noticed a small box containing vials of different colored liquids, some seeds and tools she didn't recognize. She would have to make difficult choices about which species to prioritize. An extinction event in miniature, she murmured, and got to work. Lieutenant Eric Harris found himself in what looked like a battle simulation room. Holographic projections showed a small fleet of Earth ships facing a much larger enemy force. You command this fleet, the voice told him. The enemy will attack in 5 minutes. Your mission is to protect the civilian transports behind you. Victory by any means necessary. Harris studied the tactical display. The odds were impossible. His ships were outnumbered 5-1. Conventional tactics would fail. He would need to think differently. Maya Patel's room was empty except for a floating crystal that pulsed with light. As she approached, she heard a voice in her mind, but backwards, the words in reverse order. The meanings were scrambled. Communicate must... Survival for... The fragmented thoughts were difficult to piece together. Patel realized the entity experienced time in reverse. It was seeing the end of their conversation while she was at the beginning. She would need to find a way to bridge that gap. Captain, Olivia Martinez entered a room that looked exactly like the Bridge of the Horizon from 5 years ago. The view screen showed a scene she remembered all too well. The Neveran sun sending out massive flares, the colony ships trying to escape. A figure that looked like Elder Zathrak stood before her. You have a choice, Captain. You can save the Neveran people as you did before. Or you can save your crew who will die if you choose us. This time you cannot save both. Martinez stared at the simulation. This isn't what happened. We saved everyone. This is the trial of truth, the Zathrak's figure said. The truth is often about what could have been, not what was. Make your choice. Martinez watched as her simulated crew rushed around the bridge, trying to maintain the failing shields. The Neveran ships were vulnerable, filled with millions of innocent lives. She had seconds to decide. In his trial, Reeves was sweating. The air was getting thin. He had figured out most of the system's logic, but one element eluded him. The timer showed 15 minutes remaining. Then he realized he was approaching the problem like a human engineer. The Neverans thought differently. Their technology wasn't just advanced. It was fundamentally different in concept. He cleared his mind and tried to see the system as a whole, not as separate parts. Suddenly the pattern became clear. He made the final adjustments, and fresh air flooded the room. Trial complete, the voice announced. You have adapted to the unknown. Doctor, Wells had managed to stabilize part of the ecosystem. She couldn't save everything. Some species were lost. But she had preserved the key predator-prey relationships and the primary plant life. Why these choices, the voice asked. I saved the keystone species, Wells explained. The ones that support the most other life. Sometimes you can't save everything, but you can preserve the foundation for recovery. Trial complete. You understand balance. Lieutenant Harris had tried every strategy he knew, but the enemy ships kept breaking through. Then he realized the simulation wasn't winnable through fighting. He ordered his ships to form a defensive formation around the civilian transports. Instead of attacking, they would absorb the damage themselves, sacrificing military assets to save civilian lives. As his simulated ships were destroyed one by one, the voice spoke. Trial complete. You understand that protection, not victory, is the true purpose of strength. Maya Patel had finally established a form of communication with the crystal entity. She had realized that she needed to think about the entire conversation at once. Beginning, middle, and end simultaneously. The entity shared knowledge about dimensions beyond human understanding. By the end of the exchange, Patel had learned to perceive time in a new way. Complete, trial, your, is, the entity communicated. Patel understood perfectly now. In her simulation, Martinez watched as the shields failed. She had made her choice to save her crew. The Neveran ships on the screen were engulfed in solar fire. "Why this choice?" the Zathrax figure asked. "Because it's honest," Martinez replied. "If forced to choose between my people and yours, I would choose mine. That's the truth. But the real truth is that I would never stop looking for a way to save everyone." The simulation froze. Truth acknowledged. Trial complete. One by one, they emerged from their trial rooms. Elder Zathrax waited for them in the central chamber. "You have all completed your trials," the elder said. "Your results were unexpected." "Did we pass?" Martinez asked. "Pass?" These were not tests with simple pass or fail outcomes. They were revelations of character. Zathrax's compound eyes seemed to flicker with something like respect. "Captain Martinez, your final choice was most surprising. Most who take the trials lie to themselves, choosing what they believe we want to see." "I'm not interested in games," Martinez said. "Earth is in danger. We need your help." "And you shall have it," Zathrax replied. "Your honesty, all of your responses, have convinced the Council that humanity is worthy of the knowledge we offer." Zathrax led them to a new chamber where several other Neverans waited around a large holographic display. "The Void Eaters cannot be destroyed," Zathrax explained. "They exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, but they can be redirected." The hologram showed a massive, ring-like structure. "This is a multi-dimensional gate. It creates a passage to another universe, one already dead and empty. The Void Eaters will be drawn to it as they are drawn to all sources of energy." Martinez studied the design. "Can we build this?" "With our help, yes. We will provide the technology and guidance." Zathrax paused. "But there is a price, Captain. The gate requires an enormous amount of energy, and it must be precisely calibrated by someone physically present at the activation site." The implication was clear. Someone would need to stay behind. "I understand," Martinez said quietly. "We should prepare to return to Earth immediately. We have a lot of work to do." As they walked back to the Defender, Reeves moved beside Martinez. "You're planning to be the one who stays, aren't you?" Martinez didn't answer immediately. Finally, she said, "Let's focus on getting back to Earth with this technology. We'll deal with the rest when the time comes." But they both knew the truth. The trials had revealed it after all. The journey back to Earth was faster than the trip to find the Neverans. Elder Zathrax had provided them with improvements to their engine systems. The Defender now moved through space more quickly than any human ship before it. On the bridge, Captain Martinez studied the plans for the multidimensional gate. The design was unlike anything humans had built before. It would take all of Earth's resources and more to complete it in time. "Do you think Earth can build this?" Maya Patel asked, looking over Martinez's shoulder at the complex designs. "We have to," Martinez replied simply. "There's no other choice." Jack Reeves entered the bridge carrying a data tablet. "I've been going over the power requirements. They're enormous. We would need to use every power plant on Earth and all our orbital solar arrays, and it still might not be enough." Martinez nodded. "I know. We'll figure it out." The truth was, she didn't know if they could. The Neverans had given them the knowledge. But implementing it with Earth's technology would be incredibly difficult, and time was running out. When they reached Earth, Admiral Boyd and the Defense Council were waiting. Martinez presented the Neveran plans. "This is our only chance," she told them. "The Void Eaters cannot be destroyed, but they can be redirected through this gate to a dead universe where they can feed without threatening living worlds." A scientist on the council studied the plans with wide eyes. "This technology is decades beyond our capabilities. Building it in 7 months seems impossible." The Neverans will send advisors to help, Martinez said, but we need to start immediately. Every nation, every resource we have must be dedicated to this project. Admiral Boyd looked grim. Where do we build it? At the edge of the solar system, Martinez replied. Far enough from Earth that if something goes wrong, there's a chance the planet will survive. And who will operate it? Another council member asked. The plans indicate someone must be physically present to calibrate the gate when the Void Eaters arrive. The room fell silent. Everyone understood what that meant. A suicide mission. I will, Martinez said firmly. But that's a problem for later. Right now, we need to focus on building the gate. The next day, Martinez addressed the leaders of Earth's nations. Her speech was broadcast to every corner of the planet and to all the colonies in the solar system. 7 months from now, our solar system will face a threat unlike any we've encountered before, she told them. But we have a solution. With the help of the Neveran people, we can build a device that will save humanity. She explained the plan simply, making sure everyone understood both the threat and the hope. When she finished, there was a moment of silence. Then, one by one, the world leaders pledged their support. For the first time in human history, the entire planet worked together toward a single goal. Factories that once made cars now produced gate components. Scientists who had been competitors now collaborated. Ships from every nation carried materials to the construction site beyond the orbit of Pluto. 3 Neveran advisors arrived to oversee the project. They brought with them technology that helped speed the construction. Even with their help, it was a race against time. Dr. Wells worked with the Neveran scientists to understand the physics of the gate. Lieutenant Harris coordinated the security fleet that would protect the construction site. Patel used her new understanding of time perception to help translate the more difficult Neveran concepts. Reeves oversaw the engineering teams, and Martinez moved between them all, solving problems, making decisions, keeping everyone focused on the goal. 4 months into the construction, they hit a major problem. The power systems weren't working, as planned. The gate was drawing more energy than predicted. We can't generate enough power, Reeves reported during an emergency meeting. Even with everything we have, we're still 30% short. One of the Neveran advisors, a young scientist, named Kelzax, spoke up. There may be a solution. Our power crystals could provide the additional energy needed. Power crystals? Martinez asked. They are a technology we developed after our evacuation, Kelzax explained. They store massive amounts of energy. We use them to power Navora Prime. Would you be willing to share this technology with us? Martinez asked, surprised. The Neverans had been helpful, but they had kept many of their advanced technologies to themselves. Kelzax hesitated. I will need to consult with Elder Zathrax. This goes beyond our debt. Later that day, Martinez received a message from Zathrax. The Elder's face appeared on her private screen. Captain Martinez, I understand you face power issues with the gate. Construction? Yes, Elder. Without additional power sources, the gate won't function properly. Zathrax was silent for a moment. The trials you and your crew underwent were designed to test more than just your worthiness to receive our help. They were to determine if humanity could be trusted with greater knowledge. I don't understand, Martinez said. The power crystals Kelzax mentioned are not simply energy storage devices. They are also the foundation of our faster-than-light technology, our advanced weapon systems, and much more. To share them with you would be to give humanity access to technologies you might not be ready for. Martinez understood the concern. We only need them for the gate, Elder. Nothing more. Perhaps, but once the knowledge exists on Earth, it cannot be taken back. Zathrax paused. I will send 20 power crystals. They will provide the energy you need for the gate. But I ask that you personally ensure they are used only for this purpose. You have my word, Martinez promised. 2 weeks. Later, a small Neveran ship arrived with the power crystals. They were beautiful objects, glowing blue gems the size of a human fist. Each contained enough energy to power a city for a year. With the crystals installed, The gate construction proceeded more quickly. By the 6th month, the massive ring was taking shape. It was an enormous structure, a perfect circle 5 kilometers in diameter, made of materials that seemed to shift between solid matter and energy. Martinez stood on the observation deck of the command station near the gate. From here, someone would need to monitor and adjust the gate as the Void Eaters approached. The instruments were a mix of human and Neveran technology, complex but usable by a trained operator. By a single person who would not be able to leave once the process began. Reeves found her there, staring at the controls. "We need to talk about the activation sequence," he said. "I know how it works," Martinez replied. "I've studied the plans." "That's not what I mean, and you know it." Reeves stepped closer. "You don't have to be the one who stays, Olivia." Martinez turned to him. "Yes, I do. This was my mission from the beginning. We could set up an automated system, or draw lots among volunteers. The Neverans were clear. The gate needs constant adjustments that no automated system can handle, and I won't ask anyone to make a sacrifice. I'm not willing to make myself." Reeves looked like he wanted to argue further, but he knew her too well. When Martinez made up her mind, there was no changing it. "We still have a month," he said finally. "A lot can happen in a month." Martinez nodded, but they both knew the truth. As the gate neared completion, Earth prepared for the arrival of the Void Eaters, and Captain Olivia Martinez prepared to say goodbye. The day of the gate activation arrived with a sense of dread and hope. The Void Eaters were now visible from Earth's telescopes, massive distortions in space that seemed to swallow light itself. They moved faster than predicted, giving humanity only hours instead of days to prepare. Captain Olivia Martinez stood on the bridge of the Defender, watching the final preparations. Around the massive gate, a fleet of ships from every nation on Earth stood guard, though everyone knew they would be useless if the gate failed. Behind them, at the far edge of the solar system, millions of civilians had been evacuated on every available ship. "Final systems check complete," Jack Reeves reported. "The gate is ready for activation." Martinez nodded. "Begin evacuation of all personnel from the command station. I'll take the last shuttle over." Her crew looked at each other. They knew what this meant. "Captain," Maya Patel said, stepping forward. "We've been talking. We want to stay with you." Martinez shook her head. "That's not an option. One person needs to stay to calibrate the gate. There's no reason for anyone else to remain." "With respect, Captain," Dr. Wells said. "We've run additional simulations. The calibration will be more precise with 2 people. And security protocols suggest at least 1 tactical officer should remain," Lieutenant Harris added. Martinez looked at her crew, her friends, and saw the determination in their eyes. "You all know this is a one-way mission. Once the gate is activated, there's no way off the command station." Reeves smiled grimly. "We've known that for months, Captain. We've made our peace with it." Before Martinez could respond, a communication alert sounded. "Captain, we're detecting a ship approaching at high speed," Patel reported. It's Neveran." The view screen activated, showing Elder Zathrax. "Captain Martinez, we have been monitoring your preparations. The Void Eaters approach more rapidly than anticipated." "We're aware, Elder," Martinez replied. "The gate is ready. I was just preparing to transfer to the command station." "There has been a development," Zathrax said. "Our council has made a decision. We are sending a team of our scientists to assist with the final calibration." Martinez frowned. "That's not necessary, Elder. We can handle—" "This is not about necessity, Captain," Zathrax interrupted. "This is about partnership. 5 years ago you risked everything to save our people. Today we do the same for yours." Before Martinez could argue further, Admiral Boyd's face appeared on a second screen. "Captain Martinez, we're detecting the Void Eaters entering the outer solar system. They'll reach the gate in less than 3 hours. It's time." Martinez took a deep breath. "Understood, Admiral. Elder Zathrax, if your scientists are coming, they need to arrive quickly." She turned to her crew. "Mr. Reeves, Dr. Wells, You're with me. Lieutenant Harris, Officer Patel, the Defender is yours. Get the ship to a safe distance. Captain. Harris began to protest. That's an order, Lieutenant, Martinez said firmly. If the gate fails, Earth will need every ship and every capable officer it has left. Reluctantly, Harris and Patel nodded. Martinez, Reeves, and Wells took the shuttle to the command station, a large facility built next to the gate. As they docked, they saw a small Neverand ship already there. Elder Zathrax greeted them personally, along with 3 Neverand scientists. We have little time, the Elder said. My scientist will assist with the power distribution. The gate requires perfect balance to create a stable passage. They moved quickly to the control room. The massive view screen showed the approaching Void Eaters, now close enough to see their true nature. They weren't objects or creatures in any conventional sense. They were like tears in the fabric of reality itself, places where the laws of physics seemed to break down. They're beautiful in a terrifying way, Dr. Wells whispered. Let's hope they find the next universe just as appealing, Reeves said. The team worked quickly to prepare the gate. The Neverand scientists made adjustments to the power crystals, enhancing their output beyond what human technology could achieve. We're ready to begin the activation sequence, Martinez announced. All non-essential personnel should evacuate now. No one moved. Zathrax stepped forward. Captain, there has been a change to the plan. My scientists have modified the gate control systems. The final calibration can now be done remotely from a safe distance. Martinez stared at the Elder. That's not possible. The plans clearly stated, the plans we gave you reflected our technology adapted to your capabilities, Zathrax explained. But we have brought our own technology now. The modifications are complete. Why? Martinez asked. Why now? Because some debts cannot be repaid with technology alone, Zathrax replied. Some require understanding. Your trials showed us that humans value sacrifice for others, not just your own kind, but all sentient life. This is a quality our people had begun to forget in our isolation. A warning alarm sounded. The Void Eaters have accelerated, one of the Neverand scientists reported. We have less than 30 minutes. Begin the evacuation, Zathrax ordered. Everyone to the ships. As they hurried toward the docking bay, Martinez pulled Zathrax aside. You never intended to let me stay behind, did you? No, Captain. Just as you never intended to let my people die 5 years ago, even when all logic said you should. They reached the ships quickly. The Neverands boarded their vessel while Martinez, Reeves, and Wells returned to the shuttle. As they pulled away from the command station, Martinez looked back at the massive gate, now humming with energy as its activation sequence began. From the safety of the Defender, they watched as the gate powered up. The ring began to glow with an intense blue light. Energy patterns danced across its surface. In the center, space itself seemed to bend and twist. Gate is at 60% power, Reeves reported. The Void Eaters are changing course, Patel said. They're heading directly for the gate. They're drawn to its energy, Zathrax explained from his ship. Just as we planned. The gate's glow intensified. 80%, Reeves called out. 90, 100%, the gate is fully active. A massive burst of light erupted from the ring. When it faded, they could see what looked like a window into another universe, a dark, empty place devoid of stars or planets. The first void. Eater reached the gate. It paused for a moment as if studying this new phenomenon. Then, inexorably, it was drawn into the portal. One by one, the others followed. It's working, Dr. Wells breathed. For nearly an hour, they watched as the Void Eaters flowed into the gate. Finally, the last one disappeared into the portal. Gate power decreasing, Reeves reported. Portal closing. With a final flash of light, the gate shut down. Where the portal had been, only empty space remained. A cheer erupted across all communication channels. From Earth to the evacuation fleet, humanity celebrated its salvation. Martinez turned to the view screen where Elder Zathrax watched. Thank you, she said simply. The debt is repaid, Zathrax replied. But perhaps this is not an ending, but a beginning. What do you mean? Martinez asked. The universe is vast and filled with wonders and dangers beyond what either of our species has encountered. Perhaps we were meant to face them together. Martinez smiled. A partnership? Yes, Captain. When humanity faced extinction, you did not fight alone. When we faced the same, we did not fight alone. Perhaps that is the lesson both our peoples needed to learn. As the ships turned toward Earth, Martinez looked out at the stars. The gate would remain, a monument to what two species could accomplish together, and a doorway to whatever might come next. When humanity owes you a favor, she said softly, the impossible becomes possible. But she knew the truth was more complex. It wasn't just about debts or favors. It was about understanding that in a vast, dangerous universe no species should stand alone. And that was a lesson worth nearly dying for.